Welcome back. Let's bring in Mike Eppel. Mike, we were talking a little bit earlier about the potential restrictions that are going to be announced in the province. And of course, this is going to have a ripple effect in the business world at large. So first up, good morning to you. How are you?
Hello, good morning. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, I think we're all just anticipating this announcement, right? Like, what's it going to be? How's it going to affect all of us?
They're really building it up, aren't they, with the multiple days of wait for Tuesday. That's when we're going to get the details. But the larger issue here is, Melanie, how widespread will the lockdown now sort of recommence to the levels we saw potentially last March and April? And you guys were talking about the ripple effect on the economy from a supply standpoint coming out the other side. And how do you, if you're shutting down manufacturing, for example, or construction sites or all these other things that are being talked about, well, then you have to offer support to the people who are affected. Are there programs in place for that? And, let's face it, this is January, and the mental health aspect of this is not to be underestimated. I think that is going to be one of the things we learn the most after, in retrospect of everything that's gone on for the past, what are we in now, into 10 months, and how this is affecting, Canadians' mental health, what it's doing, people, it's January, it's the bleakest month of the year to begin with, and then you've got all this piled on, kids are home and all of this. So it's just this cascading effect, and what we're going to hear today will likely not be all that promising in the short term.
No, they say it's going to be a tough next little while, right? Yeah. And when you talk about mental health of all ages, right? We see it in various scenarios with the youngsters who aren't in school, with people who are out of work, with seniors who are isolated. There are a lot of people, frontline workers. It's significant.
Well, we've gone from telling our kids to stay off their screens, and now they're on them almost 24/7.
It's tough.
And saying you got to pay attention to what's going on, in class, and that's extremely difficult for parents, especially if you're working from home and everything that's connected to that.
Yeah, part of you can't blame them, when they complain that they don't want to stare at a screen for that long. Let's talk a little bit about real estate, and it's a trend that we've been seeing for some time, right? Where people want to live during this pandemic, and rethinking priorities, transportation, all of that.
And affordability. This RBC poll talks about, the average amount of money that people have to spend in a house is about $445,000. Now, that's nationwide. It varies between provinces. But that doesn't get you much in the GTA, so you have to look outside the downtown core. And a vast majority of people say, I don't want to buy a house in the 416, probably because of affordability. So they're looking at, again, the suburbs, detached properties. More than half of the respondents to the survey say they want more space. And this comes back to, again, issues related to urbanization. How do you, give people more space, but at the same time don't take up such a large footprint? Do you have to build different types of buildings and properties? And there's a whole bunch of things that, deep thinkers can go into for years to better adjust the market and make it more affordable, make it more livable without maybe the environmental footprint and all those sorts of things.
Mike, I want to get to your last story here, and this is, SUV Vehicle of the Year, because our Stephanie Henry is going to be doing a story and a segment about this coming up in just a little bit. But what are you seeing?
All electric in the SUV category specifically. The North American SUV of the Year is the Ford Mach-E. I haven't seen any of these on the road yet, but it's something that Ford specifically, and most of the major automakers last year were talking about, the shift to all-electric vehicles. Certainly Tesla's the poster child for that, but the other automakers are coming on strong. And also this award this year, I'm curious because they made this announcement. It's the journalists of all the major automotive magazines making the selection. Is this an all-encompassing award? Because the Toronto Auto Show is going to be virtual. All of these shows this year are virtual, so they'll do a Canadian car and truck of the year, I'm sure, as well. But at the same time, all electric. Ford F-150 truck of the year, though, and the Hyundai Elantra, the car of the year. Yeah, pickup trucks are still very popular. Watch the price for gas, though. That's always a tipping point.
Yes. I always know that the automotive show is around Valentine's Day. You know how I know? Because my husband's in automotive, and sometimes that's where I spent Valentine's Day.
How do you spend Valentine's Day?
Yeah. Isn't that romantic?
Well, this year, unfortunately, it sounds like it's going to be done online, right?
Great. We'll be in front of a screen. Lovely. All right.
Again.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good one.
See you later.
All about the romance, right? We'll talk about to Steph in just a bit because she's going to be talking. She talked to Auto Trader about some of the trends that we're seeing in 2021, Devo, with vehicles that people are searching for, what they're scooping up, more people driving, not so many people want to take transit. So what's your car? What's your ideal one, D?
You know, I've never been really a car person in that sense. I love cars, but I've never been obsessed with them where I'm like, I need to have this vehicle, whatever. I enjoy SUVs. I like a larger vehicle in that sense, but not the pickup trucks. When I was this time, well, just after this time last year, like the end of the month when I was there for the Grammys, I spent a few extra days. And I was like, yeah, let me get that rental car. And it was either this little baby box thing. And I was like, nah.
Not so much.
And so I got a little pickup truck. And I'm riding around LA in a pickup truck. It's not that convenient. It's not. Parking was a little bit of an issue because I don't normally drive that car that big, but
you make it work.
Yeah.